Good evening, randomizer fans, and welcome to our Link to the Past randomizer daily race. Open major items. My name is Vitasia, and I'm coming to you all by myself today. So I promise I will not talk your ear off too much while we're going through. We have Asder and Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna on the restream here. So, a quick explanation for open major items, because this is a little bit different than your standard rando. In fact, it's a little less rando. What is shuffled in this seed? Menu items, so hookshot, bow, swords, armor, things like that, and your heart containers. That's it. All your maps, compasses, keys are in their original location. Bombs, arrows, everything of that nature, all in their original location. So it's still going to be a bit of a rush to get your regular items out there. Kakariko Village is still going to be your most dense, because if you think you have a couple of bottles, you have your bug net, you have your magic bat that gives you the powder, you even have the mushroom that's up in the woods. But those are the menu items. Those menu items, and then the full heart containers that you normally get from the bosses, and then at the end of the sanctuary. That's it. That's all shuffled together. In addition to other normal things that are like the crystals are going to be in different dungeons, and the pendants are going to be in different dungeons. The tree pulls are randomized. You know, the item drop pools, those are all going to be a little bit different, but only the major items in your menu. If it's in your menu, it's randomized. Heart pieces are not randomized as well. So we don't need to go hunting for a bunch of heart pieces. It's only the heart containers. In the meantime, it looks like we are about to get underway. As they're rocking the traditional Sprite Link, Scruff Ninja Tuna, of course, the Goomba Sprite. And of course, we're going to start off, looks like Sanctuary, and already we have some powder. Now, that powder is very important, because that is one of two pieces that we need to do the magic bat, for example. So all we need is the hammer or the mirror as well. And Scruff did just pull something. I saw crystal number 5 up in Tower of Hera, crystal number 3 over in Eastern Palace. And Scruff is killing an enemy just to make sure that he can kill something for the tree pull. Red rupees, and there's a moon pearl just sitting there where the mushroom normally is. So that's a fantastic find on Aster's. Again, pretty standard location checks. All of these are going to be what we normally do. And there's an Ether medallion, and of course, the book located there. And the Ether medallion, we'll see exactly how much that's needed. Astor on his way down, going to be doing. I don't think this dam is going to be required, because I don't think there's actually any items here. I think this is all like heart pieces, and unless he just wanted those bombs, which truthfully makes sense, because it's a great place to pick up bombs without having to spend any rupees. Oh, looks like a Bombos was also available. Wow, so 2 coins already. Astor, meanwhile, struggling a little bit. No weapons to speak so far. Is making the trek out of his way over here to go to the Ice Rod Cave. Ice Rod Cave, of course, named after where we originally get the Ice Rod. It is a menu item, so certainly one of the locations you will want to check in this run, because it's one of those early game locations that you can check, and an item absolutely could be here. and it has an increased probability of being here as well. And just a bottle. Meanwhile, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna confirming with his book that indeed it is just a heart container located on the pedestal. So no pedestal this time, which is actually good news because it very well could have been, because that is swords are menu items, folks. Question in chat: does the chest in Zelda's cell count as a major item check? No, because that is just a big key. No, that's rupees. No, so that's yeah. In Zelda's cell, no. I have to talk my way through some of these things every now and then. Astor, meanwhile, fake flippering over here to get another bottle. Fire rod located in another bottle location in the back of the bar. Okay, so we have all sorts of stuff, and Astor gets his first weapon with the Cane of Samaria. Not exactly the weapon you want to see, but it's there. And we have another bottle located up on the library ledge. I don't think we're going to be going back to that one, to be perfectly honest. We've already gotten a couple bottles. Scruff Ninja Tuna has not seen a bottle yet. Astor has seen at least a couple up to this point in time. So now Astor is going to go and check this waterfall fairy. This is interesting because normally you do get the red boomerang up here. So I believe one of these... I don't know. I need some help remembering in chat. I hope you guys can help me out. I don't know if this is one or two items because I know the red boomerang. Okay, well, mushroom and a heart container. Okay, cool. That sequence break with fake flippers is, something that a lot of runners do in the normal randomizer runs, and I'm going to be more mature than I know half of you guys are because I can hear you laughing from here. That sequence break is very common, but seems to be more beneficial because of the reduced locations that you could possibly go to. Scruff Ninja Tuna coming over here looks like he's opening up the mini Moldorm cave. I don't think there's anything in here except for bombs and rupees at this point in time. But worth getting some rupees because you still have to buy Zora Flippers, folks. Zora Flippers, again, menu item. Astor, meanwhile, showing us half magic for trade when we trade in the mushroom. Yes, Uncle Chess does have a major item. Super Malmo World. Yeah, he gave you a sword. And swords are a major item. Meanwhile, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna is going over here to the Ice Rod Cave. Going to be a little disappointed in what he finds. Very dangerous up here. Remember, these crabs, in all of the light world, these crabs up here hit the hardest for everything. So it's a little bit dangerous, particularly when you only have one heart. Got to be real careful there. But Uncle having Bombos, and then we also have the Ether Medallion. Should be interesting. I suspect Scruff is going to be doing something very similar with the fake flipper glitch here directly. Yeah, Ice Cube Bottle can lead to progression through Sick Kid. That is absolutely true. That is something that can absolutely happen. We have not seen, and that's something, we've gone a little bit through Kakariko. We've seen Fire Rod. We have not seen Sick Kid. We're also kind of waiting for the Hammer, because I think the Hammer will also unlock, at least for the time being, will also unlock the magic bat as well. Yeah, and Aster, I was like, what is Aster doing? Hey, this is a key item. It's a menu item. It's going all the way down here, and it's a bit of a trek, but it's for that blue boomerang. Menu item. And it's the lamp. Okay, that is way out of the way for your fire source. Given that we have the book and a fire source, I am tempted to take a gamble personally. I am tempted to go over to Desert Palace right now and see, hey, what can I find? It may be boots locked. It might be all sorts of risky. But if we get our gloves right there, we can go ahead and beat the boss. And I think it's the only one on our tracker. And I did not, I'll be 100% honest, I did not see what Desert Palace was. Meanwhile, Asder is going to give us, oh, Desert Palace is a pendant. Okay, good to know. Asder's showing us our first look at the sick kid, and he gives us strength up. We can lift things. We are now 2/3 of our way into the dark world, and we do not have a sword yet. So both of these runners are now just kind of running over and seeing, okay, what else is going on. With Asder now also having the lamp, which was, again, located in during the escape sequence where the blue boomerang was. So yeah, he'll be able to go up, and old man, normally he gives us a mirror. Hey, another menu item. This could be something interesting. I think more than any other type of seed, you have to really know how to read the tea leaves in this, because you're given a lot of stuff relatively quickly, and you got to know what is unlocked where. And there's our Titansmith's double lift upgrade. And we're off to the races, folks. We do have Dark World access. No swords yet, though. 0 swords. So, how do you guys feel about Kane of Samaria strats on blind? Because I'm kind of feeling some Kane of Samaria strats on blind. Looks like Asger is going to be blowing up another hole. I think he's just rupee farming at this point. Yeah, because you get a 300 rupee drop here. Again, you want to get a couple of those 300 rupee drops that are in the direct vicinity, if anything, because you know you eventually have to go pay a visit to Zora. And Phase 23 in chat actually makes a great point, and thank you for correcting me. Because the only, there's only going to be 2 items of interest in every dungeon: the big treasure chest and the boss. And the big treasure chest in Thieves Town is blocked by the hammer, by hammer peg. So, yeah, you kind of don't want to do that entire dungeon unless you absolutely have to. Meanwhile, Scruff is trying to set up his fake flipper glitch. Looks like he's getting ready to turn in his mushroom. Meanwhile, Asder is on his way into the dark world. Oh, there's our pendants. Red pendant in Skull Woods, green pendant in Thieves Town. Was that Turtle Rock as the other 5/6? I'm not quite sure. Turtle Rock red? Okay. And now we're going around. I do believe this is the vanilla big key location. Yeah. Asder is showing us and reminding us all where the vanilla location of everything is. Because I tell you what, I've played so much rando, I don't remember. I just go to the treasure chest. And I wonder, is everyone else in chat like that as well? Would this be an extra degree of challenge because you've played so much rando for Link to the Past that it's that's all you know? Mystery Bucket saying muscle memory kicking in. Yeah. And Madelsberger saying the biggies are always in the most annoying chest possible. Yeah, yeah, that tracks. That that totally makes sense too. So we're doing reasonably well at this point in time. We have a fire rod for a weapon. We have half magic, so we're not completely lost on the weapons front. But yeah, we're still missing their traditional weaponry. We don't have a hammer. We don't have a sword. Still picking up some rupees here and there where we can, in order to get that 500 that we need to pay the ransom to Zora. Question: is the red boomerang going to be in Village of Outcasts or Cave 45? Neither. The red boomerang is normally gotten from throwing the blue boomerang into the ferry, waterfall ferry, and those are what those two chests are outside there. So, oh, you're just asking where it might be. Okay, never mind. As they're doing kind of a mini world tour with our buddy Jeremiah here. Just had to drop down, not having to do the dig game because that's just a heart piece, but did want to go pick up the vanilla shovel location, which was just a heart container. But our good buddy normally gives us a sword upgrade, and hey, any sword would be nice, right? Yeah, Pod Eastern might be profitable at this point in time. That's certainly a possibility. The dipping into Thieves Town, it doesn't sound terribly good because we can't get one of the locations. We can at least open the big chest. We know the big chest in Skull Woods was nothing. We're kind of running out of locations. Oh, never mind. That answered a big question. So yes, hammer time. Which is convenient because we already have the magic powder, so we might as well drop down and get another item here at the magic bat right away. Which it's just a heart container, which is fine. You know, we have done actually very very well. If you look at it, you know, of all the item locations that Asder has checked, and he's checked a few more than Scruff. One, two, three, four. So he's gotten 5 heart containers, and look at all the items he has. He's checked significantly. He's gotten many, many, many more items than he's gotten heart containers, which is fantastic, to be perfectly frank. Like he's on a very solid pace right now. Scruff's right behind him though. Really doing everything else. Looks like Scruff might be a little bit on autopilot here because I think this is just a heart piece. Yep. Well, and that's the danger in this particular run is there's a lot of things that you're like, hey, is this a heart piece or is this actually something else that I forgot? I'm not going to lie. As soon as I found out I was doing commentary, I'm like, okay, where's the cane of Burna again? Normally, okay, it's up there. Like I wanted to make sure I knew my item locations. And Chibi Cage, actually, phase 3, Chibi Cage is right. Thieves Town does sound pretty attractive with 3 items because it is also the green pendant. So not only do we have blind and the big boss, but we also have the green pendant to turn in for a key item. And because we have not yet gone out of our way to do anything over in Eastern Palace, it could really route all of that together very nicely. Now, Scruff is going to have a bad time because he does not yet have that hammer. He opted to come in here first, which in this format, not necessarily the best routing. I understand why Scruff is dipping down in here because, to be perfectly honest, it's muscle memory for a lot of rando runners at this point. But in this particular setting with just major items, this is kind of a risk for Scruff. Yeah, it looks like Scruff is going to skip the big chest. Now, he may come back and get it later if he starts running out of items, or he dies and will be leaving directly. Nope, that was an accidental death, not a purposeful death. Okay, Scruff. So, whatever is in this big treasure chest that Astor is going to show us, there's a potential for, if it's a significant item needed for the routing of the game, that this will put Scruff Ninja Tuna significantly behind Astor, because he's going to have to do all of this and then come back for it later. However, he could be making a madman gamble, and hey, in Rando, sometimes you got to make a madman gamble. Let's see how it plays out here. All right, so Astor, the moment of truth is upon us. Drum roll, chat. Get your guesses in. What's it going to be? Ah. All right. It's nice. Not really, but nice, right? I mean, blue mail. It's not something that I think top tier speedrunners need, because they're so used to dodging everything anyway. We don't have a ton of hearts, and we're hoping not to get too many hearts this seed, so I guess it's nice that way. But, nah, Scruff's going to be all right. Meanwhile, this Cane of Samaria fight, yeah, this can be a difficult one for blind. Sometimes you just have to put your block down and hope he runs into it himself. Sometimes you try. Oh, and he gets it. Whew. And our first sword. Fantastic pickup. So Astor gets a green pendant, our first sword, and probably some pretty darn good incentive to go on over to the Eastern Palace area sooner rather than later. But that Scruff Ninja Tuna does luck out. He doesn't know it yet, so he might still be stressing a little bit if he's last locationing an item a little bit later. But he will be bailed out knowing that particular location is nothing. Meanwhile, Astor does go pick up, in the meantime, the purple chest, which does contain a bottle. Oh, Scruff. Oh, that's too bad. Scruff takes a death. That's the hard thing. The blind fight is generally very, very scripted, as long as you have a sword or some other kind of consistent weaponry to attack him. But as soon as you get off that script and kind of let him start flying around, it becomes very difficult to control all those fireballs going around. Oh, oh, oh. That's big. That is very big. That is the hook shot. So Scruff says, "Okay, we're going to abandon this for now. I've wasted enough time, so now he's abandoning it. Um, it he's missing. He's going to be out of sword, so that won't hurt Scruff to abandon it if there's another sword that's available relatively nearby, and the green pendant is nothing. That's a lot of ifs right now." And yeah, chat pointing out Asder is very cleanly setting up his fake flippers, and he is on his way to Zora. He collected his money. He made an extra stop on the way and says, "Yep, time to pay my ransom." It is another location that you have to get done at some point in time. Might as well do it now. I'm guessing. My guess is he wants a bow and arrow before he goes over to Eastern Palace. That's just my guess. You don't want to rely on it being given in your path if you don't know it. If you're playing a randomizer, for example, he just wants to check all those locations. Do not enter a dungeon if you can avoid it before you already have the thing. Was there anything on library? It was just a bottle, Lucan. It was just another bottle, so I doubt we will be going back for it. Although, if they happen to be in the area, it was a fairy in a bottle, so you never know. And Asder gets the most expensive Valentine's Day gift ever from Zora. Thank you. Yeah, Drossi in chat pointing out that we have access to all of Dark Death Mountain now, and that does appear to be what Asder is doing. Shout out to Drossi, by the way, who is doing the tracking for us this evening. Big shout out to Drossi working behind the scenes, as well as Professor Renderer helping get the restream set up and rolling this wonderful seed. Thanks to all of you doing the work behind the scenes while I get to do the fun stuff and just sit here and talk and listen to my own voice. So Asder is opting to go ahead and before doing, oh yeah, there's nothing on Death Mountain. Yeah, we gotta. I remembered. I got all excited. It's like, hey, we can go into Death Mountain. We can do Tower of Hera. Everything else is not an item. And yeah, we are going to have to do Hera's basement. No getting around it this time. I laugh for those of us who have not yet learned the bottle trick. Yep. Chat also pointing out, just outside, if we wanted to, we could read the tablet that normally has ether on it. That is a location that has a menu item. We do not have the Master Sword, so it would just be us reading it to see what it has. It's a little bit of love. I think Asder is opting, hey, let's go ahead and just do this dungeon, and If I happen to get the Master Sword, I'll just get the item, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. It is not worth double checking it. Yeah. All right. And Scruff Ninja Tuna now easily defeats Blind. Rewarded with this sword, he is very happy. Not setting up Death Warp or Harapot. No, no, we gotta kill this worm. Oh, gonna try a bomb jump over here. This can be a tough one. And another bottle. How many bottles has there been? I feel like we found all the bottles now. And of course, it's a B in a bottle. After A, we've already spent all the rupees we need to, so we don't need to sell the B. And we've already defeated lines, so like the B is not beneficial in battle. That's an unfortunate B in a bottle. Phantom SVT. How does this mode work? It's very simple. Just the menu items and just the heart containers. That's all that's shuffled. I mean, and there's flippers. That's fantastic. The crystal locations are, of course, shuffled, between crystals and pendants. That's all fine, but if it's an inventory item or a heart container, heart pieces, no, those are in the vanilla locations. Bombs, keys, big keys, maps, arrows, all that in their vanilla location. So there's a lot fewer checks to make. Oh, and Aster finds the location of the mirror. We will eventually have to go there. Scruff decides instead, he gets the hook shot and says, I'm not going up Death Mountain. I am going to Ice Palace. Because why not? Now, it looks like Aster is actually doing the same thing. So he is slightly behind, but he has a full crystal ahead of him. So definitely an interesting combination here. Yep. And Icebreaker is still going to be incredibly beneficial for this particular speed run for the seed, because Icebreaker just unloads us literally right there into the big key room. So still very, very good there. Yeah, mirrorless smith chain was hard required. Yes, absolutely. That is 100% true. Yeah, because the smiths gave us the hammer, and then we got the hook shot out of yep. Okay. Ice rod in Ice Palace. It's a bit on the nose, don't you think? Just little bit. Yeah, and actually, I'm terrified because Turtle Rock is a pendant. We don't want to do it. We absolutely do not want to do it. We've already checked the pedestal, so we know pedestal is just a heart. But Trinex could be holding something. Wait, is Turtle Rock a 5/6? Oh, it's a 5/6. I thought it was a pendant. My fault. So yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let's get it out of the way. Wow, Scruff just blazed through that fight. Is rewarded French vanilla. We have ourselves another male upgrade uh, in the dungeon that gave us the first upgrade originally. And you know what? Now, if I were Scruff, I might be more interested. Yep, going up Death Mountain now, because now you can do everything. You can do both Turtle Rock and Tower of Hera at the same time. Um, although, where are you going, bud? Oh, that's right. The Cane of Burna is located up here in the Dark World. So he's going to come up here and do Spike Cave. That's where the Cane of Burna normally is. Really, really easy to forget about this location. One of these one-off locations that's, very, very isolated from everything else. And unlike the Ice Rod, is not part of normal routing that you would see in the Light World. Instead, you have to kind of go out of your way and plan for it. And Scruff gets through that. Oof. Oof. That's not what he wanted. All right, so Scruff is on his way up the mountain, and Asder looks like Asder's also charging up the mountain. Looks like we're gonna get our first peek at Turtle Rock. I don't think we've seen what would be on Turtle Rock yet, so this will be our first look. But regardless, this would be an absolutely miserable Trinex fight, as is. It is Ether Medallion, so we can get in. But let me tell you, I don't know anyone in the community who would get excited about a fighter sword Trinex fight. Hammer Trinex isn't so bad. I guess that's true, and we do have half magic, so that makes it better. Oh yeah, it's not a matter of whether or not you can do it. It's a matter of how enjoyable it is. And it's not. I think, and that's I think the toughest thing that I think uh, a lot of people when they first start speed running, and I know I struggle with this, is like there's just a lot of things in the game that I can do. It doesn't mean I'm going to enjoy them, and it's a video game, and I want to enjoy my video games personally. And yeah, you're really hoping for another sword minimum in this big treasure chest, honestly. That would be ideal. Meanwhile, Scruff Ninja Tuna doing his death warp so he can get out of there a little bit faster than just walking out like Asder did. Chemo Rock says all these Death Mountain climbs going to feel so bad. Aster gonna have to come back from here, and then again for GT. Yeah, so that'll be 4 Gannon Tower or Death Mountain climbs. But I think that's something that is at risk when there's so few key items out there. When you have so few inventory items, and they're all so densely located, primarily in dungeons, like you are expecting to double dip some dungeons. I think. I mean, you do your best to avoid it, but I think ultimately that's just something that you have to accept is going to happen sometimes in these seeds. And so sometimes you're going to have multiple Death Mountain climbs. Um, it sucks and you try to avoid it, but when that happens, you're just like, okay, I guess we got to do it. All right, so Asder now showing us our first. Flute. Okay, that's nice. Let's see. The flute will allow us access to Misery Mire, which is again nice. I tell you what, the most important thing that's going to happen that Asner, I suspect, is going to do, because Tower Hera was one of our 5/6 red crystals, and Turtle Rock is the other 5/6 red crystal. That Pyramid Fairy is having a visit made to her almost immediately, because that's sword and silver arrows. That's 2 inventory items right there, and it's relatively quick just before you go over there. So, uh, yeah, I think that's going to be done very quickly. Pyramid Fairy into Catfish. Yeah, that's cat. Hey, good pointing out. Catfish normally gives us Quake. All right. We've been making consistent progress through all of this, but this might be a bit of a challenge for Aster. Hammer Trinex is, like I said, it's never fun, and it's not that it isn't doable, but keep a lookout for Aster to see how well he does it. All right, 1, 2, 3. You can get typically 3 hits. 1, 2, and switched over before. Fantastic job by Asder. He might have done this a few times or so. All right, so second head explosions, and now the body is exploding. Um, cannot menu during the explosion, which is the rough part, so he cannot menu over to that hammer. Here we go. And 5 hits. Well done, Astor. That was about as textbook as a hammer Trinex as you can get. Rewarded with just a heart container. Not that, you know, a heart container is bad, but we're now at 10 hearts, red mail. These are both very, very good runners. They don't need too much more help, folks. Come on, let's we can give them some more menu items now. Nope. Faye's pointing out, yeah, there's only 4 heart containers left anyway. It's true. Astor coming over here, going to be turning in his flute. I imagine. I'm gonna take a wild guess. By the way, that is an amazing bunny sprite for the Goomba. Tim, what is major items? Yeah, it's items in the menu and heart containers. So all of the, bombs, arrows, rupees, heart pieces, keys, maps, compass, all of those are in their locations. So every dungeon only has 2 items, but that's still more than most of the overworld. Aster, meanwhile, is making a fool out of me. Says, I did beat blind. I might as well turn in this green pendant. Why, thank you, Sahasrara. I would like this sort of Evil's Bane. I really appreciate you finally giving that to me. And of course, with that, we know exactly where the mirror is. The mirror is located on the Ether tablet. Help me out. Did Scruff go and check that? GM Big Kev. Yes, pedestal is one of the major items because it's a sword. All sword locations would be major items. So that is someplace that would have a key item. However, it was just a heart container that we know. Scruff did read the tablet. Yes. No, Madelsberger makes a good point. Blind was gating 2 swords. Blind himself dropped one, but that green pendant led to another. Yeah, great point. So with this, okay, so we are missing effectively at this point in time. We have the mirror now. We're in bow mode, aren't we? We're just in bow mode. Yeah, and maybe Quake. You're right, and maybe Quake. You don't know because we haven't seen Misery Mire yet. And I think that is Asder's thinking. It looked like he was originally going to go and check what was going on, but decided, hey, let's go check. And it is Quake. So, ooh, no, and that's good for him for checking because you do things a little bit differently when you're in go mode versus no mode, and now he knows better. Oh, Astor stealing the key in Desert Palace. Desert, of course, is a blue pendant, and he knows nothing is on the pedestal. Might still be something on this boss, though. He's stealing this key because he's checking because if that small key is normally boots locked, then this is a bit of a sequence break. But he's not going to show us because he doesn't want to know. Yeah, we don't know if it's a sequence break or not. He's just being a bit of a jerk and not showing us. Thanks, Asder. Oh, the key has to be there. It's vanilla. You're right. Durr, I am. I have Rando on the brain. You're absolutely right. So Chemo pointing out, yeah, he's sequence breaking the boots right now. And what is it? It is. Oh my goodness. So, uh, that's significant. That's that's what we call a game changer. Yeah, we don't know where the boots are, but and realistically, keep in mind that that could just be one of two different bows that are out there. So that may not even be the required bow that we get. That's not going to keep me from saying that that's probably the single biggest play of this whole seed at this point in time. Period. Full stop. Madelsberger cursing the seed and says, "Cool move, unless Quake is on Landmo." Which, um, ooh, oh, that's help me out, chat, because I want. I mean, from a logical perspective, this is now a. I'm curious if the boots are in Misery Mire and Landmo has Quake. Is that possible? Like, are we? Is it possible that Astor just soft lock himself? If that's the case, I'm not saying it is the case, but is it possible? No logic protects against that. Okay. Okay. I know the logic is really smart. I'm but I'd like to think of ways that we can break things. No, that's fair, Jimmy. I've been around, and I remember times when, yeah, there have been other game breaking situations. I've been playing the randomizer for quite some time. Oh, absolutely. You can see Asder's no major glitches experience. He is just running through this thing. And I die a little bit inside every time someone just walks by that line of rupees and doesn't collect them. I just want everyone to know that. I feel personally attacked whenever that happens. Bugnet, hey, that's a major item that we needed, right? Scruff actually coming over here. I thought he was going to the pyramid too. Looks like he's actually going to the Bombos tablet, which another thing we have not yet seen from Asder. Oh, okay. Here we go. All right. Folks, at 52 minutes and we'll call it 12 seconds, we are now in no mode. Only not. We're in phono mode. And we're in phono mode because technically the bow that we have is boots locked. And we don't have the boots. Yeah, and Scruff is God, these guys are driving me crazy. I'm like, come on, Pyramid Fairy is right there. It's 2 items. Just chuck it. But no, it's okay. I'll let everyone do it at their own pace. Yes, the big key is located on the left side, which is the common location where many runners end up skipping. But since there's only 2 items in a given location, we will not be skipping that today. All right, Asder does kill the Helmet Sword King. We know it's a crystal, and it's just a shield. So, no key items that are really necessary in Palace of Darkness. I imagine he'll be mirroring over and doing Eastern Palace here directly. Yep, it's entirely possible that Asder will skip a lot of stuff if he checks Bombo's tablet before, like Swamp Palace or some of the other locations. Scruff is on top of his game. That was a very nice little, like in addition to that diver down glitch that he just did, the delay for triggering that switch was just very well timed. Yeah, Asder not opening that chest again. I think that's that NMG training that you go through. Like, you know what chest to open? Like, let's skip the fanfare. I know I personally love the sounds of treasure chest opening, and that's my biggest flaw. Meanwhile, Asder will be getting the big key located here, and Scruff will be opening his big treasure chest. In fact, they'll both be opening their big treasure chests close to simultaneously here. So for Scruff Ninja Tuna, another berry in a bottle, and a shovel, which is a fetch quest that we can do. I've retired from singing though, so I will not be singing anything. All right, so Asder and Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna are on their way to their respective boss fights. Asder will have a little bit of an easier time just because of the type of boss it is. And just heart containers. So, okay, we got a shovel, which is absolutely something that we're going to be turning in. I would expect directly. Scruff, meanwhile, is getting some nice doubles here on Argus. When you have the Master Sword, yeah, sometimes it pays to try to get some doubles You can get some swings or spins going. And here comes the shovel while Scruff finishes off Argus and is rewarded with Das Boots. Our logic gap is closed. Meanwhile, Asder does waste the fanfare and picks up the red boomerang. Okay. Scruff is going into the cave formerly known as Hype. Oh, just to pick up the 300 rupees. This is where things are going to start getting a little bit interesting. They're both going to be doing the fairy right at the moment. Unless it's the bow upgrade, it's not going to pay off for Asder. At all, because we know he's missing Quake. If it is the bow, then Scruff is on his way. He's just gone. But it's 3 dungeons to 5 right now. Swamp Palace and Misery Mire, the only 2 that Asder needs to do. Can't even get into Misery Mire. We know where Quake is, though. All right, so what do we have here? Another sword and another shield. Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. Right now, we know... I mean, Scruff has to go to Desert Palace. And the problem is that he has so many other places to go. Desert Palace is not likely to be one. Looks like we're going to get a catfish check. And look, the side-by-side of just seeing these two, they both coming from Pyramid Fairy and on their way over to the catfish, you can see how much time the boots are saving Scruff. It's not minutes, but this is time that is going to be adding up a lot. Scruff, I think, also hasn't checked his aura yet, so he was getting that money to be able to mirror over to make an efficient check out of it. Just a bloomerang. All right, looks like Asder is now maybe doing Swamp, maybe checking the tablet. If he checks the tablet, he's in go mode. And it does look like Asder is going to be going over and checking the tablet first thing, which is good news for him. Meanwhile, Scruff is getting set up. Looks like he's going to go over to Misery Mire, avoiding doing Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness, which we know is a good thing because the bow is not there. Asder finding his Quake medallion and says, "Welp, I'm gonna go over here, do Swamp Palace." And here's the deal: Asder will get to skip left side because he knows it's not going to be anything that he wants. Now, he may still check it if he's trying to close the logic gap, knowing that He doesn't have the boots. I doubt it. I really doubt it. I think he has probably made peace with the 5% possibility that that's where it's at in Ganon's, that the Ganon Tower big key is there as well. But it's in the vanilla location, so we know it's not there. So all right. So Scruff Ninja Tuna now showing us Misery Mire. And again, have to go all the way to the back to get the big key. We know where it's at. It's in, uh, as chat pointed out earlier, the single most annoying place in the entire dungeon. That's where the big key is at. And that's usually a good presumption. In the meantime, yeah, Astor just like, hey, I'm good. I'm good to go. I don't need to close any logic gaps. Who needs that? And it's worth pointing out, Argus will take considerably less time for Astor uh, because Tempered Sword. And Tempered Sword does do considerably more damage than Master Sword. He'll be able to just pull swing, pull swing, pull swing. I'm as well as Astor's been running. He might even know poke strats. I don't know. And just a heart container and the Misery Mire big treasure chest. Okay, no poke strats then. He's just swinging, still being very efficient. Really, the difference between poke strats and swinging is it is considerably faster, but seconds is all. And there's the boots. Astor knows the logic gap is closed. That is his 6th crystal. He has Misery Mire to go, and he is off to the races. Scruff Ninja Tuna, we will be waiting on Scruff to figure out that bow and arrow is located in Boots Locked Desert Palace, which is, I mean, not a fantastic place to be. All right, so here comes Astor entering Misery Mire right as Scruff is starting his vitreous fight. Playing Pong with the wall, and Vitreous is the eyeball, and that was something hidden by the explosions. I did not see what that was at all. Oh, golden sword. Okay, 4th sword. And now Scruff is coming over here to do. He is not stealing the key, which is faster in this particular instance. First bow locked behind a boots required desert palace in the big chest. That we know about. We still do not know where the second bow is. Worth noting, yeah, we haven't gotten the item on the boss at Skull Woods yet, or the item on Landmo, or the Ganon's Tower big chest. And are those the only 3 items we're missing? Silvers, Burna, and Cape? I think we have all the hearts now. Mirror Shield too. We're missing Mirror Shield. So there's another location we're missing. King's Tomb. Right. That's where the magic cape is. So 4 item locations left that we know about or that exist. And we are well, I mean that raises a good question. So King's Tomb is a quick check. King's Tomb is a very quick check. And right now, it is a 25% chance of holding silver arrows. Question for you, chat. Do you check it before you climb Death Mountain? Because the only logical time to check it would be just before Death Mountain. Just before you were climbing to do Ganon's Tower. 25% chance. Do you take the time to do it? Yes or no? That said, that being said, Asder is on his way up Death Mountain to do Ganon's Tower. So everyone knows it is time for there's no big key guessing game. I'm winding up for no reason. Man, I was on the roll. I was getting the voice all rolling and starting the wind up, and here we go. And there's an announcer voice kind of wind up that happens, and now I just kind of like I have given myself announcer like disappointment. I feel bad. More than that, I feel bad for all of you because like I pride myself on being able to hype things up properly. So when I start hyping, you feel your adrenaline going. And so I apologize to everyone whose adrenaline got going just a little bit, starting to hear the hype, and are now having to be disappointed. That's on me. In the meantime, Astor is going to be going in. I am unfamiliar with the no major glitches routing. I have never done an NMG run, ever. So I have no idea what it looks like. But clearly, left side is what you start with. Vanilla, Big Key, Ice Heartmost. Yes, correct. And yeah. Oh, there's the last shield. Okay. All right. Asder on his way for Ice Armos. Just set up very, very well for it. Scruff Ninja Tuna cleaning up on his last and final crystal. Bob, of course, hanging out with us. And Asder makes quick work. And if anyone was wondering, no, he is not checking the other room. He is not checking for that 1 in 25% chance for silvers. He's like, nah, I'm good. All right, so Asder begins his ascent through the gauntlet while Scruff is finishing up. Yep, and our tracker Drossi just confirming and correcting me from earlier. We must have a heart container missing because there are 4 key item locations that we do not know, and 3 missing items and a heart. So we do not know where the silvers are. We do not know where either of our invincibility items are, the Cane of Burna or the Magic Cape. And then we're also missing, we presume, 1 heart container. There was a pet check. There is a heart container on the pedestal. All right, Asder done with land mode 2 and on to the geometry puzzle section of Ganon's Tower. What was at the Pyramid Fairy? A sword upgrade and a shield upgrade. Scruff taking a second, using the flute to come over, purchase an upgrade to the bombs or to his arrows, and that immediately refills it, by the way. So he doesn't have to open any treasure chests to do so. And he has 35 shots as opposed to 30 now. 8 complex. No, major items is the only thing that is shuffled are the inventory items, anything that's in the menu, and heart containers. So heart pieces are not randomized in this particular mode. The maps, compasses, and keys are not randomized. All the bombs, arrows, things of that nature are not randomized as well. Those are just in their normal locations where you would find them. So just the menu items and the heart containers, which effectively means very limited checks that you had to do. Yeah, it looked like a twofer for me on Aster's side. And another twofer. And one, and they're a little bit out of sync now. But he got the one, so 2-2-1-1 on Aster's side at 1:19:05. And Aster is on his way to fight Mr. Blue Bacon himself. And Mr. Bacon gives us a bacon fact. I appreciate you, Ganon. Thank you for remaining topical and on point. And of course, with Buttersword, this will be very quick. He will be telling us exactly where those silvers are, though. Did you find the arrows in the light world? They were absolutely in King's Tomb. Nope, we've already checked Ped. We knew Ped was just a heart container. Yep, both bows logically boots lock. That is correct, Chibi Cage. Meanwhile, Aster's just putting on a clinic here, showing how to do silverless cannon. And the explosions, the crashes, and Aster only has to cross the most dangerous 1x3 bridge in all of gaming. And he does so. Congratulations. Chef Ninja Tuna did, in fact, check that treasure chest in the off chance for silvers. But Asder does finish in first place in the community race with a community time of 1:21:31. GG's to Asder. We'll see if he'll be available to chat with us. Meanwhile, Scruff is starting his gauntlets at this point. And it sounds like we are joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Asder. GG's on your first place finish.
Thank you. GG's.
So this was a little bit different from the standard rando routing that happened, and I know that you're also an NMG runner as well. How much did that help you out here, do you think? Just not only knowing the default locations, but just being able to just kind of rush everything as you were.
Yeah, bomb and arrow pots as well are a lot better to know for this. I did a practice seed yesterday because I knew this was going to be a lot different, and it was really terrible, but I learned a lot of things from it. It was actually a mode where I felt like you want to have an empty muscle memory for stuff, like, because normally when I see rando players play NMG kind of at the same time, switch between them often, they'll like open chests in NMG they're not supposed to, or they'll like skip chests in rando they're not supposed to, and you want the NMG muscle memory for this, so I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, we could tell. I know some people were commenting in chat, just it's like, man, he didn't even flinch, didn't even try to open that treasure chest in Eastern Palace, and it's like, well, yeah, when you're used to running an MG, that's just a thing you do, is not open those. I
haven't run it in a few years. I'm pretty out of practice with it, but the practice seed I did yesterday helped. This mode is... I didn't expect to have that much fun with this mode, but I wanted to try it out. It's actually pretty interesting. I think it could get stale pretty quickly, but just once in a while, I think it's pretty fun.
What might be what I thought was the play of the game is that gamble in Desert Palace where you stole the key and then you got the bow, even though you're like, well, this boot's locked, but you don't know where the boots are. That ended up just, I mean, you were already kind of well ahead there, but at that point it just felt like, game over at that point. Is that, how often do you steal that key? Is it just one of those, well, it's a pendant, might as well?
I had a low sample size, but in my practice seed, I stole the key, and I thought it worked out pretty well. It's interesting because, like, there's some advantages to this mode where you know that you don't have to go to desert without the boots ever, because the two items in it are never going to be in logic without the boots. But I decided it was a good idea to take the time to do it in this situation, because I had just gotten the mirror and I was looking for bow, and Quake's kind of bad to find sometimes because it doesn't lock very much, and bow, there's two of them, so it's easier to find one out of logic. So I did it with the bow specifically in mind, so it was cool when I got it. I was kind of worried later when I got boots from Argus, because I put off Swamp for so long, just because Swamp's got like two items, and for one you have to do like the worst left side possible for it, and I wanted to put off the decision for doing that as long as possible. So I got boots late. I felt like maybe I was late to them, but I think most of the routing went pretty well.
How about Blind somehow blocking two swords?
Blind oh yeah, Blind blocked all four swords actually, because the third sword I got was in Pyramid Fairy behind Turtle Rock, I'm pretty sure, and you need a sword to open that, and then the fourth sword was on Vidi and Mire, so you needed the swords for that as well. You literally had to kill Blind for sword.
Yeah, we felt that was rude a little bit, and then of course Sahasrara. It's interesting because both you and Scruff on stream, neither of you like immediately went to go turn that in or anything. We're like, come on, what's this green pendant? I want to know. And you both dodged it for quite a while. You had other stuff you could do, so I mean, I understand, but I was yelling at my screen personally. I don't know about anyone else.
Yeah, I bet everyone was curious. I just, I didn't think it was necessarily the right play to go that way without either the flute or the bow. Like, once I got one of those, I was definitely going to go check, but it's a pretty slow walk.
No, and that makes total sense. I mean, your justification makes complete and total logical sense. And that's why you won first place, and I'm sitting here in the commentary booth not running.
So do we see where your second bow is?
He said in the Light World, and the only place in the Light World that we have not checked, we believe, is King's Tomb, which normally holds the magic cape.
Ah, okay. I forgot to check. Gain a hint.
Yeah, that's the only it got down to the point at the end where there were only 4 possible locations before Ganon's hint, and it was the Ganon's Tower Big Chest, King's Tomb, and then Mothula, which we hadn't seen, and Landmo. So meanwhile, Scruff Ninja Tuna does finish with a time of 1:28.26 in second place, not only on the restream but also in the community race. So GG's to Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna. We'll see if he'll be joining us here shortly. But as we wrap up, do you have any other thoughts on this seed or on the mode in general, or anything else that you wanted to comment on?
No, I think that's about it. Thanks. Thanks CT for commentating. And was Drosy also tracking? Or
yeah, Drosy was tracking. Yeah.
All right.
This seed was fun.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. You have to think about this mode very differently. It's like weird because like Mitts and Hammer don't really open the things you're used to opening. Like you can go South Dark World, but there's nothing there, right? It's it's so weird. But yeah, GG's. Thanks for the restream.
Yep, and
GG.
Thank you, Asder. Meanwhile, joining us, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna.
Howdy.
GG's. How are you feeling after that one?
A little bad that I forgot that King's Tomb was a thing. Because I guess the other bow was either King's Tomb or Flute Spot. But overall, the seed mode is kind of fun. It's NMG with a twist.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about with Asder. It felt like those folks who had more practice running NMG probably did better with this particular setup. Just because
100%.
you could skip a ton of treasure chests. I'm looking at Asder's collection rate 76. Like, okay.
Yeah, there are a couple of chests in some of the dungeons. Like, wait, no, that's not a key chest. But I forgot which chest. I keep forgetting which chest contain the 3 hundos. It's like, all right, play it up like NMG. Got to get money for Zora. Got to get money for Pod. Where are those 300s again?
Yep. We definitely saw both you raise money at different points in time. You tried to route it in when it was convenient. The waterfall ferry routing, remembering, oh yeah, there's 2 key items there as well. Absolutely helped. Walk me through, because this was another one of those seeds that I think at different points you could make. And I think you did a little bit better in all the Death Mountain trips, but it felt like there were 3 or 4 different trips up Death Mountain at various points in time.
Dude, I'm kicking myself for not checking that green pendant turn in, because first sword off blind, second on green pendant turn in, that's just rude. And then having that mirror up on Ether Tablet was just funny.
Yeah, that was something that we talked about as well. Blind blocking the 2, and realistically, if you think about the 3rd and 4th sword,
all 4, yeah,
because it was all locked.
Yeah, 3rd was what? Pyramid Fairy, with 4th being on Vidi.
Yep, and Pyramid Fairy was locked behind Trinex, so yeah, you need at least. I mean, I think everyone went into that with Fighter Sword, so everyone did it Hammer, but it was within logic at that point.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, with Flute and the thief, or the Turtle Rock Big Chest, that obviously screamed going to Misery Mire. But even with Red Mail, I really didn't want to do Fighter Sword Vidi, so that's why I put it off for so long. But I have a feeling things would have ended a little bit differently if I decided to go Misery Mire into Desert, because I wouldn't have. Oh no, that's right. I didn't have my boots at that time. Never mind. I was definitely going to go ahead and do that after Swamp. The whole routing decision was just kind of odd. I mean, that's why I fake flippered into ice after Thieves Down. I was like, I've got everything to finish it. Why not? And then finding that ice rod in there was hilarious.
Yeah, I think that was the point where everyone was like, well, we're absolutely going to be doing Turtle Rock here directly, for better or for worse. And I know at that point, Asder, because you two were pretty close in the race at that point in time. Asder had already made a trip up Death Mountain once at that point in time to do Tower of Hera, and then came back down and did Ice Palace and got the ice rod. It's like, well, guess we're going back up and doing it another one. It was really interesting, and I think the most interesting thing in this mode is the breadcrumbs just kind of led you exactly where you needed to go. You just had to be comfortable in making those particular calls and doing it.
But overall, it was fun. I really enjoy the mode. I will definitely be playing it again.
Excellent. I see you're trying to fast forward to try to get to your collection right here.
Yep. I'm happy to say that I was not that far behind Asder in collection rate.
Well, that's good to know, because I think, considering how long everyone took in getting, their first swords and everything else that was going on, thank goodness we had magic early on. I think you guys had half magic from the get-go, just about.
Yeah, the mushroom turn-in. That was fantastic. Yeah, aside from a couple of hiccups, this is overall a fun one. But I'm going to go ahead and dash. Appreciate you guys doing a restream. Thank you for doing the wonderful talking, and for Drosy doing the awesome clicking. But I shall see y'all later.
Sounds great. That was Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna. If you liked what you saw from either of these community runners, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna or Asder, give them a follow here on Twitch. It's the easiest way to support them. That's going to do it for us in this daily Link to the Past randomizer race. Open major items. We'll see what we can do about sending you over to another speed gaming channel with anything ongoing. Once again, a big shout out to Drosy doing the tracking on the back end, and of course, Professor Renderer for doing the restream and rolling the seed. If you'd like to join us over, make sure to join our Discord over in the Speed Gaming Network. Also, the Discord for the Link to the Past randomizer as well, if you'd like to join us in either of those places. That's all for me tonight. My name's Matasia, and we'll see everyone at the next race. Have a great evening.